I'm going to be demonstrating how to carve a simple Christmas ornament. This ornament was carved from a turning. You can see that it has eyes that have been painted and not carved, and you can see from it that my style is to carve, showing the knife marks, the facets. I prefer that my carvings do indeed look like they've been carved rather than sanded smooth and look like a piece of plastic. I do a number of my Christmas ornaments from turnings. I believe that a couple of things. Obviously, it takes off the corners. Many carvings that I've seen from beginners look like they've been carved out of a square block of wood, and carving from a turning prevents this and keeps in a round shape. A couple of words about safety. As you can see, I wear a carving glove. Don't trust this completely because I've been able to slice through the fabric, as well as a sharp knife will go through the knits, the point. Thumb guard is also another safety item to protect your thumb while carving. Sharp tools are important. Sharpening your tool is giving it a shape and a form. Once it has been sharpened and properly shaped, then it only takes regular honing on a leather strop to keep it sharp, and I prefer using a Tormek compound for sharpening that is a wet paste, and then make sure that I wipe my tools clean after sharpening them so that the honing compound does not get onto the carving. Good lighting is also important so that you can see the difference between the rough surface and the carved surface, and that you can see the shadows formed by your carving and the shape. Now we'll begin carving, and I'm going to break off the ends from the turning process, and we'll start carving those smooth. Now, one thing to notice is that as I carve, I turn the piece of wood, which allows me to keep my knife at a consistent angle, and I turn the piece, rotate it, and carve around on all the sides, working my way around, and I work up, in this case, from the bottom. And you want to make sure that you're carving, in this case it's a downward carving with the grain. I carve on the bottom until I get up to where the shape reverses, and later on I will carve the balance in another direction. So I will be carving down the grain. Now I'm going to turn, and I will carve the ball on the top. And again, I work around in a similar fashion, making facets all around, trying to do them somewhat irregularly. And again, I'm rotating the piece around so that I get to all of the sides. Now we'll carve the down. And between the section of the hat and the ball, I want a V-groove, and that can either be cut with a knife, with cuts from both sides, small ones, or it could be cut with a V-tool. I will also be cutting the groove around the hat band, and that I will show you how I do it using the V-tool. Before I carve that, I'm going to carve a flat on the hat band. So I clean that surface up, and notice again how I hold the knife at a slight angle so that I'm always cutting into the wood. Now I will switch to the V-tool, and the one I happen to be using is a Drake bent 1/4 inch V-tool, but you can certainly use a smaller one or another size, and it doesn't have to be a bent tool. And I work my way around, and to control my cut, I keep my finger on the bottom so that it bumps up against the carving and controls the depth of my cut. I'll turn the piece around and I'll do the same on the bottom edge of the hat band, again controlling the depth of the cut with my bottom finger that's on the bottom of the gouge. Now we'll go back with the knife and we'll round off the hat band, and you can do that in a couple of ways. One is to make your cuts like this, like we did when we did the ball. The way I prefer to do it is to work this way with the knife held so that it's cutting at a slight angle again, and I just work my way around, sometimes making an extra cut so that the facets are irregular and don't form a tatter. And then I'll do the same to the bottom side of the hat band, rounding it. And next we're going to carve the surface of the hat, and I try to do that in one single cut. I can't always do that, but once I get the feel of the shape, usually I can do pretty good. And we go all the way around the hat, again turning the carving and taking off the rough surface, making a smooth surface, and again with those facets that I like that show that it's an object that's been indeed carved out of wood. And then I will go back and I will do the bottom section the same way. Holding the knife flat on the carving, I can control the depth of the cut. And I work my way around to clean up this surface. And then we'll have the surface all prepared, and the hat is completed, and next we'll go on to work on the face. There, and any little bit of cleanup that we need to do, and I'd like this rounded a little bit more. And we're ready to go and work on the face.